You've got a great lead, you're ready to make an offer, but the seller, nowhere to be found. No matter how good your deal is, if sellers won't answer their phone, you're stuck. And if you're only calling once or twice and then moving on, you're leaving money on the table. The truth is, sellers ignore calls for a lot of reasons. Maybe they don't recognize your number, they forgot they even filled out your form, or they're just skeptical. But the investors who consistently close deals know how to break through the silence and get sellers talking. Today, I'm giving you proven strategies to boost your contact rate and get sellers to engage. Let's dive in. Welcome to the OnlyLandFans Launchpad series. I'm Kendall Lejeune, and this is the series that shows you exactly how to flip land without ever buying it. One of the biggest challenges land investors face isn't finding deals, it's getting sellers to actually pick up their phone. Too many investors give up after one or two calls when, in reality, it takes a structured approach to make contact and build trust. In this episode, we'll cover why sellers ignore calls and how to fix it, the best strategies to increase your pickup rate, and what to do when sellers ghost you after initial contact. By the end, you'll know exactly how to turn dead leads into real conversations. First, why sellers ignore calls and what you can do about it. Before you can fix the problem, you need to understand why it's actually happening. Here are the top reasons sellers don't answer. 1, they don't recognize your number. If they see an unfamiliar area code or a random toll-free number, they just assume it's spam. Second, they forgot they even filled out your form or talked to your cold caller. Sometimes sellers reach out when they're curious but don't remember when you actually called. Third, they're skeptical. Many sellers assume real estate offers are scams or just aren't sure if you're legit. So here's the fix. Use local phone numbers whenever possible. If a seller isn't responding, try switching to a number with their area code. It makes a huge difference. The takeaway here is the more you look like a familiar, real person, not a telemarketer or a robot, the more likely they are to answer. Next is the triple dial strategy and why it works. Most investors call once and leave a voicemail. That's a mistake. Here's a better approach. Call once. If they don't pick up, don't leave a voicemail. Call again immediately. Wait about 5 seconds. This makes it seem urgent and they're much more likely to pick up out of curiosity. Call a third time. If they still don't answer, now leave a casual, no-pressure voicemail. For example, I know investors who double their contact rates just by using this method. The second and third calls trigger a response because the seller assumes it's really important. The takeaway here is sellers ignore 1 call. They don't ignore 3. Want to master this process? Come hang out in my free Facebook group at OnlyLandFansGroup.com. I'll show you exactly how it's done. That's OnlyLandFansGroup.com. Next is texting and voicemail strategies that actually get replies. Some sellers never answer calls, but they do check text messages. Here's the best way to get a response. Your first message might be something like, "Hey, Mr. Seller, this is Kendall. Just left you a quick voicemail. Got a minute to chat?" And then your follow-up text, if no response in the next 24 hours, is something like, "I know this is random, but I wanted to ask, are you still interested in selling your property and county name?" So for example, one investor got a seller to respond after 2 months of silence just by sending a text that said, "Hey, Mr. Seller, don't want to bug you, but I had a quick question. Mind if I text it over?" The seller replied instantly. The takeaway here is if calls aren't working, switch to text messages. People are way more likely to reply on their own timeline. Next is what to do if a seller ghosts you after showing interest. Sometimes a seller does answer and then disappears. When that happens, don't assume they're no longer interested. Here's what to do. Wait a few days, then send a low-pressure follow-up. Something like, "Hey, Mr. Seller, just circling back. No worries if now's not a good time. Just wanted to check in. Let me know." You could also use a different approach. Instead of pushing the deal, send a helpful resource. Something like, "Hey, thought you might find this interesting. Here's a quick guide on selling land in your county." Or try a different contact method. If they won't answer calls, send an email. If they're ignoring text, try a short voicemail. Here's a pro tip. Sellers sometimes want to sell, but they get distracted or overwhelmed. A no-pressure follow-up keeps the door open without pushing too hard. So here's the takeaway for you. A ghosted seller isn't always a lost deal. Stay persistent, but don't chase. Let them come back when they are ready. Most investors lose deals simply because they give up too soon. But now you know how to break through the silence and get sellers talking. Try these strategies and watch your contact rate go up. And if you want even more advanced tactics, join the OnlyLandFans Facebook group at OnlyLandFansGroup.com. It's where the real conversations happen. Again, that's OnlyLandFansGroup.com. And if you got value from this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone struggling to reach sellers. So you finally got in touch with the seller, locked up the contract, but now you're stuck. The property isn't selling, you don't know what to do next. In the next episode, we're breaking down how to sell land deals when you're stuck, where to find buyers, how to reposition your deal, and creative ways to move your inventory faster. See you next time. Until then, stay dirty.